Hello and welcome. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I solve sales and marketing challenges and I'm making today's recording at an undisclosed location in Abuja. So expect to hear some interruptions in the background. Now, the goal of this podcast is business education, in case you're discovering me for the first time. So please spread the word so that your friends and family members in Nigeria and abroad can benefit from the questions that we tackle. They can do that by subscribing on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of their choice. And if you'd love to connect with me, call, SMS, or WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Today on the podcast, we're going to look at how to establish an emotional connection with your potential buyers. Again, I repeat, today on the podcast, we're going to look at how we can get cozy, how we can get emotional with our potential customers, with our potential clients. And we're also going to examine some small subsets of the question. We're going to look at whether we need to have an emotional connection with our clients. Is it necessary? Why can't I just show up, collect the money, and get out? Do you have to become friends with your potential buyers and customers? Because quite frankly, I'm not looking for new friends. I just want money. Then, how can you even establish this emotional connection yourself? Especially since a lot of times, we're going to be dealing with people who are total strangers. When we start off in business, in the beginning, you tell your brother, you tell your sister, you tell your friends, people in work, people in church, people in the mosques, one or two connections like that. But then before you know it, 3 or 4 months have passed and we have finished dealing with everybody that we know. Now it is time to talk to to perfect strangers, total strangers. How do we get emotional? How do we cozy up? How do we level? How do we become one-on-one with all these strangers that we deal with every day? And then the big question, how can you use this emotional connection to close the sale? Because there are some of you who are very good at making friends. But the thing is, you become a friend to the person on January 1st. February, people are still friendly. March, you're still friendly. April, you're still friendly. November, you're still friendly. But since then, they haven't bought anything from you. So how can we use this emotional connection to close the sale? Oh, sorry, one moment. Okay, sorry about that. A notification just came through on my phone, so I wanted to make sure it was not something that needed my immediate attention. Oh, and yeah, in case you haven't figured it out, yes, for those of you who are listening for the first time, I'm making this recording using my phone. All the podcast episodes that I've made, all 1,120 something episodes, I've made every single one on my phone. Okay, apart from that one where I was being interviewed by this communications specialist based in Canada, Nene Batubo. Of course, Nigerian born, but she don't jackpot, so she's out there with her family, and she's in the communication space. She's a professional communication specialist. So that particular episode was recorded the right way. I showed up on my computer because she likes all that kind of thing, so she hooked it up. So I can't remember the software anyway, but we showed up, proper mics, recorded everything. She edited everything. She added music, so that is the only single one polished episode that I have over here on the podcast. Anyway, so let me get back to the questions now. Where was I? So emotional connection. What is an emotional connection, self? Now, for those of you who are in relationships, you're all loved up. You have a husband, you have a wife, you have a boyfriend, you have a girlfriend. Of course, you already know what an emotional connection is, so no need for me to explain that to you. But for the purposes of this podcast and for the purposes of business, emotional connection just means mutual understanding. As in, I feel you, you feel me. We understand each other. We're on the level. Number one, that's what emotional connection means. Mutual understanding between two of you, buyer and seller. Then a certain level of empathy or trust. Me, I trust the buyer. And then the buyer, they also trust me as a seller. That, I'm not going to try and pull something sharp. I'm not going to try and do a 1 or 2 and then just disappear. So a certain level of trust has to be there. A certain level of empathy has to be there. The person needs to understand that they need to get this feeling that, I'm feeling them. I understand where they're coming from. Even me too. I need to understand that the buyer is also feeling me. They get where I'm calling from. Because, sometimes, potential clients, potential customers, sometimes they can be idiots. So we have to protect ourselves. If you're dealing with any client and, you're getting some vibes like this guy is shady, like this baby is shady, shisty. They're just out to, to just wound us and go. Just remove yourself from that situation. So we too should be protecting ourselves. So any client that is looking shifty, that is sounding fraudulent, that is sounding one kind, just remove yourself from the situation. Because I can assure you, at this level, money hasn't changed hands. They're already doing you like this. When money change hands, oh boy, you will hear it. So these are just the basic dynamics that we need for a business relationship. We're not talking boyfriend and girlfriend. So emotional connection just means mutual understanding. We understand each other. Empathy. We they feel each other small. And then trust. I'm trusting that this buyer, this client is somebody that has sense. They're trusting that me as a seller or as a professional, me too, I get small sense. So that's all we mean when we say emotional connection here. So this is not about lovey-dovey feelings and vibes and stuff like that. So for those of you who, when you hear this episode, you are becoming afraid, like, I beg, I'm just here for the money. You're in the right place. Don't worry. We're not saying people should become 5 and 6. We're just saying establish mutual understanding, establish empathy, establish trust. That is all we need to build a business relationship. If you guys become 5 and 6, like Dangote and Otedola, family holidays together, flying in the same personal jet and whatnot. Yeah, that's all good. But in the beginning, it's not necessary to closing the sale. So, can an emotional connection even help you close the sale? The answer is a capital YES. Remember, we're talking emotional connection. We're not talking about love. We're not talking about friendship. So, an emotional connection can help you close the sale because trust and emotional connections help to reduce sales resistance. It helps to pipe things low. Because in the beginning, when you're trying to sell somebody something, everybody has an automatic response when they feel like somebody's trying to hustle them, somebody's trying to sell something to them by force. Everybody has an automatic response. That's the reason why, for those of us who schooled in the UK, you enter the shop, you're looking, and then the moment a sales rep walks up to you and says, oh, good morning, sir, can I help with blah, 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 blah. I say, oh, no, thank you, I'm just looking. Meanwhile, you're not looking, no. You actually want to buy something. But the thing is, you don't want anybody to hustle you. And for those of us who schooled abroad, Forex, currency is hard to come by. So you don't want to just waste your pounds anyhow. In your mind, you don't want to spend anything more than 20 pounds. And you feel as if you open your mouth and tell this guy that, yes, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, by the time you leave the shop, you would have spent like 50 pounds. You have doubled your budget. So everybody is on that lockup level. Emotionally, everybody is closed when it comes to sales. Nobody wants to take advantage, be taken advantage of. It's a normal something. So just learn how to navigate it. It's normal. So an emotional connection is what will get the other person to calm down and to relax and to say, actually, you know what? I'm here because we came to attend my brother's graduation. I'm looking for suitable shoes, but honest to God, £10, that's the one that I have, I beg. So if you can help me find something here less than £10, no problem, I'll buy. That's the kind of thing, excuse me. So emotional connections, that's the kind of thing that makes people, calm down. Tom Hopkins calls it, what does he call it again? Sales resistance. So when you meet everybody, sales resistance is high. Everybody is locked up. We need to get them to relax and calm down. Emotional connections do that, and trust helps people to do that. And please remember, I have said at the beginning of the episode, and I want to repeat it now, I am not saying that you have to become friends with your potential buyer. If you want to become friendly with people, then it's cool, because some people are very, very friendly. Some people make friends easily. Some of us are just in business because we want to make money, full stop, and we don't want to add more friends. So it's okay. We're not saying you have to become friends. What I'm just saying is you have to find a way of establishing some rapport with this person who is a total stranger. This is the first time they've entered your shop. This is the first time they've slid into your DM. This is the first time you're meeting the person in the office. This is the first time people are meeting on the field for field inspection or whatever it is people are supposed to do. This is the first time. So you have to find a way as a seller to establish some kind of rapport, establish some kind of mutual understanding, establish some kind of empathy, establish some kind of trust, so that the person's guard will be down, so that you guys can talk. If people are not talking, no sale is going on. Believe. Except for people who are actualized buyers. The thing with actualized buyers is actualized buyers already know what they want. They already know how much it costs. They've done all the research. So their own is just, do you have it or don't? So if you're dealing with an actualized buyer, no problem, it can be transactional. But I've only met one actualized buyer before. She showed up to my stand and she was like, hey, hello, my parents got married in 19 this in the island of Belize. They got a this, that kind of album. Do you have this kind of album? Yes or no? Yes, I have it. Can you do this kind of signature cover patterns, something? Yes, I can do it. Okay, how much would that be plus delivery? I'm getting married in so and so. She was a very, very straight up person, as in she has done the research, she has done the whatever. So for that kind of person, when you're dealing with an actualized buyer, you can cut straight to the chase. Is either I have it or you don't. Is either they think you're credible or you're not. The next thing is how much, when are you going to deliver? Oh, by the way, I love those kind of people. Even though I've only dealt with one. On the wedding photography side, I've only dealt with one. But me, I like those kind of people, Jerry, as in straight to the point. Let's get going. But everybody else, we need to establish some sort of rapport, some sort of mutual understanding. So now, how are we going to establish this emotional connection with this potential buyer, with this stranger? First of all, we have to realize that it is all about the other person. It is not about you. You listening to the podcast now, the business owner. It's not about you. Lots of times we make the mistake of starting off with me. Hello, nice to meet you. Welcome to the stand. My name is Tabishima Ayede, and I'm the principal of so and so. We've been in business for 20 years, and we have solved this, these segments. We have a list of customers, and we have worked well with this person, that person. We're the greatest, we're the best, we're the this, we're the that. While you are doing all that intro, me, us, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, I'm the this, the person is tuning out. Person is not listening to you. They are not, because in the beginning nobody cares about you. You will get a chance to say the whole, I am the greatest, I am the best, I'm the brightest, I'm the smartest, I'm the cheapest, the fastest, the most affordable. You will have a chance to do all that. That will be later on in the relationship, after you have done need analysis, when you are making your presentation. You cannot do me. Even at that stage, by the way, I don't recommend you do me all the time. But, we'll talk about that later. So in the beginning, it is about them. It is not about you. The primary focus is not supposed to be on you and your company and your product and your service and how great you are. Start off the interaction by being concerned about who the customer is, why they have reached out to you, what they are hoping to achieve, all these kinds of things. So it's, hello, nice to meet you, welcome to the stand. So what brings you here today? Oh, okay. This is the problem you're trying to solve. Okay, tell me some more about that. Okay, did you try this in the past? Did you try that in the past? Oh, okay, all right. So because of that, these are the alternatives that you're considering. Okay, would you like me to put you through one or two? That's how the conversation is supposed to be. It's about them. When you have done all that initial, every about who they are, why they reached out to you, what they're hoping to achieve, then you can now start that whole, I am the best, I'm the brightest, I'm the fastest, I'm the cheapest, I'm the best, I'm the most original, I import only, all my stuff is imported from the US, all that, the normal things that we do. But in the beginning, you start off the conversation being focused on them. Now this applies whether it is face-to-face or whether it is email or whether it is DM. Some of you have set your DM auto response thing. Hello, thank you for reaching out to Kemi Badenoch, something. I'm the greatest, the brightest, the whatever in Abuja, something. How may we help you today? Just cut out that first part of hello, we're the cheapest, the best, the brightest, the this. Cut out all that first part and let your automatic prompt something just be hello, how can we help you today? Or maybe, hello, thank you for reaching out to so and so. Can you tell me your name and where you're calling from and how can we help you today? Any which way you're going to program the thing, program it so that we're starting off asking about them. Now, the funny thing is this, the psychology, the funny thing is this. When you get people talking about themselves, they now become calm towards you. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know how it works. All I know, especially from business perspective, is just that it works. Even from a relationship perspective, it works. If you want to snag a babe and you show up to the date and you say, babe, I'm the best, I'm the tallest, I'm the finest, I'm the this, my father is so and so, I'm related to this, that. For the average babe, there's some babes that will fall for all that, but for most babes, you've lost them. But if you show up for the date, asking questions about her, you show up, you pay her a compliment. Oh, nice dress. I like your mascara, blah, blah, blah. This, that, and then you start asking questions about her. You stand a better chance of closing the deal. So whether in relationships or in business, I don't know why it works. I just know that it does work. So you focus on the other person. Anyway, let me stop there. Let me know if I flog it. I'm sure you get the point. Next, you need to look for some areas of commonality between both of you. Because remember, both of you are strangers. Any commonality will make things just, smooth, small. For those of us who schooled in the UK, remember how it was now. You land, everybody's a stranger. The moment you find another Nigerian, you're like, correct, my people. And then you relax. Because two of you have something in common. In Nigeria, you guys could probably, you understand. You're from different regions. So in Nigeria, ordinarily, you will not be talking to yourself. But because you're in a foreign land, you've landed in Russia, you want to study medicine in Russia or Ukraine. Because I hear that those people have really good medical faculties. In fact, one of my cousins studied there. So you're landing in Russia, everywhere is cold. Minus 40 degrees. You've never seen that kind of cold before. Because in your father's village, cold means 25 degrees. But now you're in minus 40. Everywhere is bleak. People are talking in language you don't understand. The moment you hear two people speaking in Igbo language, even though you're a Hausa guy, you're like, my brothers, you guys become cool. See? Commonality. That's how it works. So, people are total strangers. You need to look for some things in common, establish some areas of commonality, and then move on. Just establish and move on. Don't dwell. And so that's the reason why, for me, especially for those of you who've reached out, I'm big on this whole thing of universities and, tribe and stuff like that, because quickly we establish some commonality. I'm currently doing business with one guy. He's from Yobe. He doesn't consider himself to be Hausa, Core North, whatever. I'm a middle belt dude. You see, that's one area of commonality, even though we're not from the same state. So these kinds of things, they never fail. And then in Nigeria, we have these university wars, People from OAU always ragging on people from Unilag. People from Ibadan always ragging on OAU. OAU and Ibadan always ragging on ABU. Then all of us who are in first generation universities, Unilag is not first generation, by the way. So you Unilag people, sit down. You're not on the list. So University of Ibadan, OAU, ABU, we first generation universities, all of us just ragging on everybody else, second generation university, private university, all those things. So it's also a very good way to build rapport. I was like, oh, by the way, which school did you go to? I went to Covenant. I said, Covenant. That means you're a millennial. I said, what do you mean? I said, now, Covenant now is a baby school now, so that means you must be a baby. And then from there, just small rapport, casual joke. You see that kind of thing, you're getting people to just relax, calm down. So that whole thing of where are you from, what school did you go to? Oh, you went to so and so. That means you must know this person, that person. Say, which set? 98 set. Oh, no, me, I was 2002 set. I say, okay. But from there, from these kind of random conversations, we're just looking for one area of commonality, one or two. Establish it, don't dwell on it, just move on. But these things make us more human, they make us more relatable. So talking about school, where did you grow up, what tribe, what state are you from, the other person's interests, I mean, even things as simple as Netflix, for instance. Anyway, remember, we're not trying to look for best friends here. We're just trying to establish one or two elements of commonality and then we move on. But please, a word of caution. When it comes to religion and politics, please be careful. All right? Because religion and politics, you quickly say something that will F up the whole situation. We're here to make money. If you want to convert people, over to Jesus Christ, that's fine. But the primary thing is you want to make money first. Make the money first, then we'll work on converting the person later. Except if you're an evangelist, then disregard what I've said. But right now, the goal is I want to make that money first. I want to collect that transfer first. I want to make sure that the customer is satisfied first. After that, we can now focus on the whole thing of Christianity, Islam, PDP, APC, LGBTQs, and we can discuss all those things later. But the first thing, first, is I want to collect that check. I want to collect the deposit. So, religion and politics, be careful. Don't put it at the forefront. Except if that is what your whole brand is about. So an example that I like to give is Donald Trump. So Donald Trump, he plays a certain kind of politics. So if you're like Donald Trump, then when you meet the person, it is precisely the first thing you should talk about, religion and politics, because that is part of your whole thing. So if you're not like Donald Trump and religion and politics is not the main thing, please stay away from these topics. After people have done business, after you've collected money, after people have become some friends, you can now start talking realistic about some of those things. It is then you can now say, guy, to be honest, of Yoruba people, I don't like Yoruba people because, or I don't like Hausa people because, or this LGBTQ thing, something, Christianity is like, You can now start talking after people have become friends. But in the beginning, stay away from religion and politics, except if it is a central part of your brand. And in that case, you better key in hard so that you will repel everybody who is not like you and you will attract all those people who are like you. And that's the reason why people like Donald Trump, they go very hard. That's the whole point. If you don't like them, be disgusted and go. If you like them, embrace them immediately and join the tribe. So if that's not a part of your brand, please stay away from these sorts of things. Then, to also establish trust. Okay, I've spoken. What did I say? So I said it's not about you. We've spoken about commonality. So next thing is credibility. We have to look and sound the part. And it is contextual. Let me repeat. Credibility just means look and sound the part. It is contextual. So, for somebody to be credible as a painter or as a wedding photographer is different than for somebody to be credible as a medical doctor. If they're coming to see you because you're a cardiologist, brain surgeon, something, and they show up in the office and you're wearing wife beater shirt and torn jeans, that is not looking credible. But for a wedding photographer, on the other hand, they show up in the studio, you're wearing wife beater shirt and torn jeans with dreadlocks, it might be okay. So credibility, looking and sounding the part, is contextual. There's an example that Tom Hopkins used to give in his early material. Tom Hopkins is an American sales trainer in the real estate space. So Tom Hopkins used to say, if you sell insurance, you cannot show up to your client's office wearing jeans and t-shirt. It's like there's a way somebody will look at you and rate you. If you're selling insurance, you're selling financial products, you understand? You don't show up wearing jeans and t-shirt. But then he also pointed out that if you're selling financial products, but your client happens to be a rural farmer in America, it will look like you don't have common sense if you show up to the farm that the person works on and you are wearing complete suit with tie and shine shoes and everything. So it is contextual. So not everybody needs to wear a suit and a tie. Not everybody needs to wear skirt and shirt. Not everybody needs to have a clean haircut. There are lots of situations where it's okay for you to have dreadlocks. There are some situations where it's okay to meet somebody in a bar. And there are some situations where it would be inappropriate to meet somebody in a bar. It depends. It is all contextual. Who are you? What business are you involved in? What product or service are you selling? What are the traditions around the business? So it all depends. It's contextual. So that's part of credibility. Make sure you look and sound the part. Then, I hope you have some credentials. Where in Nigeria, credentials are important. So, don't brag about your credentials, but make them visible, or once in a while, bring them up in the conversation. You'd be surprised the number of people who take me seriously, or who take me more seriously, when they find out that I started off as a lawyer. It's Nigeria, it's just one of those things. They say, oh, you used to be a lawyer. And it makes people take you serious. So, you find ways of dropping some of these things, your credentials. That's the reason why when you step into a medical doctor's office, at least in Lagos and Abuja, especially the specialist hospital, the next time you go, just check it. The doctor is sitting down, he's facing you and talking to you. On the wall behind him, his degrees are laminated and put up there. Medical School, something, Royal College of London. The thing is framed there. The graduation that he had from University of Ibadan, the thing is there. Royal School of Gynecology, something is there. Maybe you haven't noticed because, usually you just show up and you talk to your doctor and then, stuff like that. But since I am interested in sales, marketing, communications, branding, public relations, all these sorts of things, I pay attention and I see it. When you enter the office of the chief specialist, look behind him on the wall. If you're in Lagos or Abuja, try it. I don't know about, Port Harcourt and Kaduna and all the other places. But Lagos and Abuja, you enter into the office of the chief specialist, the chief consultant. Look behind him on the wall. His degrees are there, laminated and framed. So, if credentials are a part of your industry, you need to bring it up. So if you're an architect and you did the mandatory 4 years in UniJOS, and then after that, because I think for them, they also have to do masters. If apart from that 4 years and masters that you did in UniJOS, you also went to London School of Modern Architecture, something, you find clever ways of dropping it into the conversation. You're not bragging about your credentials, but you want people to know that you are credentialed, where those things matter. Because there's some places where it doesn't matter. But like for those of you who are music directors, you do music videos, stuff like that, credentials in this case might be saying, oh, okay, I get it. I understand the concept that you're trying to fulfill. By the way, when I was working on Burna Boy's that music video last year, as in you just drop it casual, you drop it stylish, the thing will click in the person's head that, so this person has worked on Burna Boy's set before. But just dropping our credentials, small. You're just hinting. It's not bragging. We just want people to know that we're capable. We know what's up. We've done this work before. Which leads me to the next one. Competence. Competence means you show people that, look, I've done this work before. You're in safe hands. This one is not a problem. I've done this before. I've taken care of people before. I can take care of you. That is competence. So these are ways that we can establish an emotional connection. Don't come in and start talking all about you. Make it about them. Figure out who they are, why they reach out to you, what are they hoping to achieve, where are they running to, what are they running away from. Establish some levels of commonality here. 1 or 2 things where you guys are similar. Stay away from religion and politics for now. When you guys are friends, 5 and 6, you can now speak your mind. Credibility. Make sure you look and sound the part. And please remember that it is contextual. There are some places where it is okay to show your tattoos, and there's some places where if you show your tattoo, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Then competence. Show them you've done this work before, they're in capable hands. So they're all good. These are the things that will make people calm down, reduce their resistance, and people will be able to talk frankly. Now, let's assume we have established this emotional connection. How can we use that to close the sale? Well, we've already figured out that by lowering their resistance, it'll make it easier to talk to them. It is hard to sell somebody on something if you guys are not talking. If the person is quiet, the person is only saying, yes, no, 5 copies, okay, no, tomorrow, yesterday. If that is the level of conversation people have, then to close that deal will be hard because there's no conversation going on here. So lower their resistance, make it easier to talk to them. Then this emotional connection that you have will make it easy to secure advancements. And advancement just means the next clear step. If someone shows up to my booth as a wedding photographer back in the good old days, and I didn't establish an emotional connection, me trying to fix the next step, which is they should come to my studio or I should come to their house, how is that step going to work? It won't, because they're still nervous. They don't trust me. There's no emotional connection. Why will they give me their address? Especially in Nigeria of today, you just be giving everybody your home address or your office address anyhow. That's the reason why we need to establish an emotional connection. When everybody's cool, when everybody's relaxed, it makes it easier for you to now say, oh, by the way, I'm going to be around your office next week, Wednesday, 10 o'clock. When I land, should I pass through? Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, by the way, can I have your phone number? That is what makes these things easy. Oh, sorry, one moment, I have to attend to something. Okay, sorry about that. I had to attend to someone outside the car because I was in the car making the recording. So I just need to attend to someone outside. Where was I? So I was saying that you use the emotional connection now to secure advancements. And advancement just means you're able to get the person to take the next step. So if you're in the kind of business where I used to be, where you're standing at the trade booth and stuff like that, if you don't establish that emotional connection, they will not drop office address. They will not drop phone number. They will not drop house address. They will not agree to the next meeting, to the next step. So we're going to use these emotional connections to help us to get that next step. Also, the reason why it's important, especially if you want to sell the way that I do or the way that I preach, is eventually we need to have some very frank discussions around the difficult topics like price or like delivery timelines or other obligations. We need to have frank conversations. I'm not one of those people who believes in, how will I put it, being coy around it. Have the conversation. Okay, sir, madam, based on what we've discussed so far, to solve this problem, looks like we could do any option between A, B, and C. Any of those would be adequate. But those would cost anything between 3M and 6.5. Is that an investment that you're willing to make? If you have established some emotional rapport with someone, you can say that thing easily. If you haven't established any rapport with the person, you haven't felt the person out, you don't know who they are, you haven't been able to gauge anything about the person, your mouth will be shaking because you don't know whether 6.5 is too expensive, or quite frankly, you won't even know whether 6.5 is too cheap. By the way, that's happened to me before. I've lost a bit because I was too cheap. So it happens. So, is that emotional connection that will allow you to have a frank conversation? That's why you can be able to say things like, oh, look, sir, I get it. You don't want to spend more than so and so. But look, bros, to be honest, between you and me, if you do it like this and like this, these are the ramifications. If you do it like that and like that, these are the ramifications. So, sir, it all depends on you. Either way, I have each one available in my shop. So I would recommend B and C. But if you insist, it must be A. Okay, no problem, sir. So what do you decide? Or which are we going with? You can have that kind of frank conversation when you have established some form of emotional connection with the person. Until you establish some kind of emotional connection and rapport, if you try to talk too frank, too straight, you will come across as rude or as proud. You say, look, who is this small boy? He's carrying shoulder up because of what? Or who is this small girl? Because she's schooled in London. She's talking through her nose. Because of what? So this is why we need to establish an emotional connection, build some rapport. It is what will allow us to be frank and talk straight. And then they will listen and, oh, okay, yeah, she actually has a point. Or, okay, that young man is actually saying something. Okay, almost 40 minutes. So let me just bring this to a close. And besides, I have to get out of here soon. This is 9:30. Okay, I have to be leaving here soon. What's the final thing I'll say? Okay, warning. After you close the sale, please keep in touch once in a while. All right, we'll talk about that some more in future episodes. But, when you show up, you're a nice professional, you're smooth, you build emotional connection, everything, you handle, you close the sale, you collect the money, and then they never hear from you again. That causes problems in the future. Because remember, we are going to go back to these people because we are hoping that they will buy again. If the person has bought car from us before, Toyota Corolla 2025 version, we are hoping that in another 3 years, they will come and buy 2028 version from us as well. So if we did not do a good job of keeping in touch after they gave us money in 2025, now want to come and sell them something in 2028, it will be somehow. We have to keep in touch because we're looking for repeat business. Then there's also referral. If you designed the house of Madam Okidengbe because you're an architect, chances are Madam Okidengbe is not going to build another house, at least not anytime soon. But we are hoping that Madam Okidengbe will be able to refer us to her classmates, to her friends, to her business associates, so that we can design their own houses as well. So for the purpose of repeat business and referrals, please, after you close the sale, keep in touch. Don't just come in, be all smooth, be all fly, close the deal, collect money, and then they don't hear from you again. It will cause a problem. So that's all for today, folks. Remember, if you'd love to connect with me, just call me, SMS me, or WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you next time, same place, in your headphones or in your speakers.